when the votes are collated. It's when they're brought to the collation center. That is where the rigging happens. Doctor.
Now, we understand that Nelson Chamisa has tweeted that he has won the popular vote and he thanks the people of Zimbabwe for voting for him. Foreign observers say the election was free and fair. His party claims the votes were rigged in favor of President Mnangagwa. Whose report do we believe?
It all depends on what part of town you're coming from. It all depends on what part of town. The AU Observer Commission held a joint press briefing with SADC and with COMESA, and there was another group there that observed the elections, and they all said almost the same thing. The elections appeared free and fair. They even commended the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission for doing a good job of conducting the elections, though they did notice that in some parts of Zimbabwe, elections didn't start on time. Vote counting didn't end on time. They said in some places they were counting the votes by candlelight. At the end of the day, they said overall the elections went very smoothly. But they would say that in some parts of Zimbabwe things didn't go as planned. Election materials didn't get to those areas, but voting also ended. In some places they couldn't finish counting yesterday. They couldn't finish counting on Monday, beg your pardon, and they had to continue the next day. So it all depends on who you ask, really. The electoral observers say the meeting they had today, the press briefing, were their preliminary observations. They haven't made a final call on what they have observed. They said they will make a final statement when the full results are announced, when the presidential results are announced, and hopefully that won't be long from now. Okay.
So with what we've seen so far, Amarachi, are there fears that Zimbabwe will experience some sort of post-election violence when the results are officially announced?
That is the fear. I mean, if going by what we're seeing now on the streets, I mean, even the media could be targeted, because there are some corners of these protests that are saying that the media is helping to fuel this violence. So there are fears it could get worse. People say it's not the election itself that is the problem with Zimbabwe. It is post-election that is the fear. That's the fear, because groups are known to, in the exuberance of trying to express themselves, express their own reactions to the electoral results. They take matters into their own hands. It could be worse, who knows, but we're just praying for the best.
Amarachi Ubani, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa. Let's take it to South Africa, where women groups, gender activists and civil society organizations have staged what they call #Women's Shutdown March across various cities in the country today. They are marching to call for more government action in combating violent abuses against women in the country. At every city, they handed over a 24-point memorandum of demands to the seat of government. Some of their demands include the establishment of a multi-stakeholder and comprehensive process to address and bring down incidents of gender-based violence. Thousands of women and girls experience gender-based violence annually in South Africa, although a high number of such cases go unreported. The #Women's Shutdown protest has also been staged in neighboring Lesotho and Namibia.
Today we are here to demonstrate to the whole world that enough is enough about the killing of women. Enough is enough about the femicide that we see happening within our communities. Enough is enough about the abuse that we see happening to our women. Enough is enough about the abuse that is happening to our young girls and young women.
We're just hoping that if we stand together and our voices are loud enough, that people will get the message. It's not only men that abuse us, but even women that abuse their kids and all that. We just want to stand against that, and hopefully when they see us and they hear that it really does bother us, the way we live. We live in fear. Our kids, we don't know whether they're safe or not. We have to leave our kids at school and crashes. We don't know if they're safe or not.
Most women suffer, even those women in beautiful big houses and suburbs with huge walls, they are being abused. Some of them are being raped. So this is a universal issue, and I think more than anything we are here with a supporter, and we're also here to say to those who have spoken out, we believe you. And a lot of times you get turned back from police stations, people don't believe you. Right now we are here to support you.
Still in South Africa, the government says it will push ahead with plans to amend the constitution to allow land expropriation without compensation. In a recorded address, President Cyril Ramaphosa says the ruling ANC will finalize a proposed amendment allowing the move, as the reform is of critical importance to the economy. Recent months have seen growing anger about the slow pace of land reforms in the country. The country's white minority is believed to have a disproportionate hold over land, with a few thousand white commercial farmers possessing the most fertile lands. However, critics fear expropriation could lead to land grabs, as happened in neighboring Zimbabwe. Let's get more on this story from South African journalist Beki Metula. Thanks for joining us on the program, Beki.
Yes, how are you?
So how are people reacting to the president's plan to amend the constitution to allow land expropriation without compensation?
We've got different, mixed reaction from different people. Some people feel like it's a great mistake because by itself, land expropriation is a political minefield. But some people feel it's necessary for democracy because some of these lands are way big and some are not being used at the moment. So we've got several different groups, even different political parties showing different reaction to this, because some oppositions feel like, no, it's bad for the economy, while some feel it is necessary.
Now, it seems the president has gone back and forth on this issue of land expropriation. Is this latest decision a tactic to sway voters in favor of the ANC ahead of the 2019 elections?
Well, at first glance, it would seem so, but President Ramaphosa has proven that no, he is taking this seriously, because earlier this month actually, we had started with several dialogues where public were involved, the public opinion were involved. Several people from the rural areas, from different classes of society were invited to participate in the land debate. And now him taking it a step further by actually pushing for the amendment of the constitution, it shows that he is serious about it. But then some people are questioning the timing, that maybe he was just pushing for next year's election. But right now, he wants it to be debated into parliament. He wants the other parties to participate in it. He wants it to be pushed forward, which means that he is ready, or his party has decided and is ready to willing to put forward with this amendment.
Now, Becky, we've seen something similar happen in Zimbabwe. There, land expropriation led to land grabs in the country. What is the government of South Africa doing to avoid the same pitfall?
Well, at the moment, you can see that the government of South Africa is really trying to grab hold of the situation, because the political parties, the opposition parties, have actually been telling people, no, go and grab land. But the ANC decided, no, let's first get a land debate, involve people, listen to opinions, then make a decision. In that way, trying to avoid, violence, and trying to avoid people actually grabbing land by force. Because the ANC has been trying to avoid that. Because as I said, it is a political minefield. If it is taken in a wrong way, it can go out of proportion, and people can end up losing their lives in the process. But the ANC has tried to put control measures in such that involving the people, let them speak, let them express their opinion. Then now they want to amend the constitution, which then the ruling party will decide, okay, this is the next step, instead of people just grabbing the land by themselves.
South African journalist Beki Metula, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa. Still to come on the program, DR Congo opposition leader Jean-Pierre Bemba arrives in the country to launch his presidential bid after a decade in prison in The Hague. Please stay with us for details.